The FBI reports that last year alone, there were more than 465,000 reports of missing children made to law enforcement in the United States. One woman who is working to bring missing children home, including her own daughter, is Colleen Nick. Colleen is the director of the Morgan Nick Foundation, and she joins us now to talk about the efforts to rescue missing children. Welcome, Colleen.
Hi, Mark.
Your daughter, Morgan, was abducted in 1995. Share her story with us.
We lived in the town of Ozark, Arkansas at the time, and we had traveled to the community of Alma, which is about 30 miles away, to watch some friends' children play in a Little League baseball game. Towards the very end of the game, the three children went to catch fireflies, and Morgan sat down to take sand out of her shoes, and the other two children walked away from her. Someone kidnapped her, and that was June 9th, 1995, and that really launched the largest manhunt that the state of Arkansas has ever seen. And unfortunately, Morgan has not been found, and it's a search that still goes on today.
You've never given up hope. What has sustained you these years, Colleen?
You know, until someone can prove to me that Morgan is not coming home, my fight remains for her, committed to finding her and bringing her home to our family. You know, I'm a person who was raised in faith, and, you know, one of the things that our family has done is to believe that miracles still happen, to trust that even though it doesn't look good from this side, that the facts seem to be against us, a miracle can still happen for Morgan, and if we fight hard enough and long enough, that she'll come home. You know, we've seen kids from across the country. J.C. Dugard was missing for 18 years. The girls from Ohio were missing for 10 years, kept in a house in their own community. And so we know that children survive, and they just cannot get home by themselves. And it's up to us to make sure that Morgan has the opportunity to come home if she's waiting for us.
Colleen, you founded the Morgan Nick Foundation. What is the goal of the foundation?
The Morgan Nick Foundation basically does three things. We provide intervention to any family who has a missing child under the age of 18, whether that child is a runaway, lost in the woods, a parental abduction, a stranger abduction, whatever it takes to get that child back home and then get the right resources into that family's hands to survive that incident. We do education across the state of Arkansas and to the surrounding states that touch our state. And we reach about 30,000 kids a year, face-to-face with prevention education. And then we advocate for legislation that protects the rights of children and not the rights of offenders.
Talk about the technology that's in place to help bring missing children home.
Well, you know, 22 years ago when Morgan was missing, we were elated to be able to find a guy who set up a fax system that faxed all night long and faxed Morgan's information to multiple businesses. You know, 22 years later, with just a post on Instagram or a Twitter account or Facebook, through the use of social media, we can literally reach hundreds of thousands of people within just a very few minutes. 1 in 6 missing children comes home because someone recognizes their image from some form of media. And so being able to reach hundreds of thousands of people through social media, regular media, Amber Alerts, whatever it takes, we're finding children much more quickly and bringing them home safely.
And I understand the age-progressed photos are a huge factor in helping to bring missing children home. Can you talk about that and about Morgan's photo as well?
Age-progressed pictures are a very strong tool that we can utilize to find missing children. Because children grow up sometimes in captivity, they obviously change how they look dramatically. And so the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is able to take reference photos from the family and to create a very close resemblance to what that child would look like. Morgan's age progression has been set at age 28, and we believe has an incredibly strong resemblance to our family and is probably a very good picture of what she looks like today.
Colleen, what do you advise people at home to do when it comes to the fight to rescue missing children?
You know, it's really not as hard as what people think. Here's the deal. You might not be able to spot a child who's been kidnapped, but all of us can see a child who is in a difficult circumstance when we just know that things are not okay. It's really about finding the courage to get involved and making a call to the police. If you see a child and you know that something is just not okay, you don't even have to know exactly what it is. Make the call. Let law enforcement decide what is going on with that child and let them bring the proper intervention. If you get an Amber Alert on your phone, stop what you're doing. Literally just look around in front of you at the people who are passing by and see if you see that child. Everyone thinks they would not be the person to spot a child from an Amber Alert, and yet over 900 kids have been rescued because of the Amber Alert.
Well, last but definitely not least, talk about your faith in Jesus Christ and how it has brought you through these years.
Yeah, faith is a big question for people in times of crisis, and I think a lot of people need someone to blame when something terrible happens, and unfortunately a lot of people turn against God and blame him, saying, why didn't you protect us? And certainly I've struggled with that. But I believe that the same God that I trusted before Morgan was taken is the same God that is in my life now. A pastor friend of mine gave me some advice a couple days after Morgan was missing, and he basically said, it's okay to be mad at God, which kind of took my breath away because I certainly didn't expect to hear that. How is it okay for us to actually be mad at God? And yet his words rang very true because he said, God already knows how you feel. He knows what's going on in your heart. Just don't stop talking to him. Yell at him, ask him questions, say everything that's on your mind. Just don't stop having conversations with him. And really, I think that was the key for me, was being okay to be really open with my emotions and my feelings, and to keep my relationship intact.
Thank you so much. Again, we really appreciate the time today.